Warning. The following program contains strong language and subject matter which may be offensive to some viewers and/or inappropriate for children. The content within this program is intended for mature audiences only.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Inside the Drag Closet, the interactive vodcast where we talk about all things drag and some things that aren't. Who knows? We're really just here to kill Sparky too.
What's going on, kids? How are we doing tonight? Welcome. Tis Wednesday. Tis Wednesday, sis. It's time.
I know, I'm
It's
so
time.
excited.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hi, kids. Welcome. Come on in. Come on in. Come see it. You know what it is.
Yep.
Time for the circus.
Thank you all for making the choice to sit with us instead of running off to see Agatha all along, which is what I do as soon as the show ends because I am obsessed.
Super fan.
Super fan.
Super
Girl.
fan. She's a super fan. But she introduced me to a lot of it too, so.
Yeah, we binge watched all of WandaVision on one day, and it was, girl, you are going to love Agatha all along.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
It is for the gays.
It is for the gays.
Indeed.
Well, how was your weekend, sis?
My weekend was interesting. I was at Hershey most of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had a really lovely weekend, to be very honest.
Good. Yeah. Me too.
How about you?
I had a beautiful weekend. I was in Rehoboth this weekend. There was a block party. I was performing at Freddy's. I was performing at Ghoulies. I actually went to go to the Top of the Pines and support the show. It was nice to be in the audience for a change instead of the one dancing around in heels. But beautiful weather, beautiful community. Roxy and Magnolia and all the girls just 100%. Camp Rehoboth, 100%. It was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful weekend. And I was very blessed to be a part of it. So can't wait to go back. Of course, it's my home away from home. I love it. Love you, Rehoboth.
Yeah. I'm so excited to get back down there. I'm back there on November 15th at Blue Moon.
Good.
I'm so excited. I love doing Blue Moon. Like, it's such
not
a
your typical
fun gig.
venue. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not your typical venue. And I mean, the best part of the Blue Moon is the Kiki upstairs in the dressing room. Hands down, you can't beat it.
I would love to do another like behind the scenes episode at Blue Moon.
Oh my God. Somewhere that has good Wi-Fi, you know.
That.
Anywhere. Yes. Oh, Magnolia's watching. Hey, girl.
Oh, is she?
How you doing?
Hey,
girl.
That was our last guest. She was amazing.
See, and now a fan. I love this. You know, she's award-winning from what I hear and very high. Very high. Baby.
How high?
I love you, sis. I love you. I love you. I love her to death. Book Magnolia Applebottom. She is in Rehoboth Beach. She travels, she sings, she impersonates, and she's award-winning. You've heard it here first on Inside the Drag Closet.
Nice. Girl, before we dive into everything tonight, I just want to say welcome to episode 150.
Oh my God. Oh, that means we've been doing the show for like 47 years.
Exactly. And I'm only 45 years old. It doesn't make any sense.
Understand it. It doesn't. Very, very Benjamin Button of you, I think.
Exactly. Well, and we couldn't have done it without our Patreons. They have been our rock through all of this. They have stuck by us. They have been helping us out. We now have a Patreon exclusive show that we have called Pearls of Wisdom that Amethyst and I record after we're done here. Look, Pearls of Wisdom. Look at that.
Look at her. Look at them.
And it's just us, you know, imparting some knowledge and doing Patreon exclusive content because that is important to us.
Yes, all of you who subscribe to our Patreon, you can subscribe to our Patreons for as little as $5 a month. If you want, of course, you are welcome to do more, but as little as $5 a month gets you behind the scene access and some exclusive shows and programming that my sister Jade and I put together for you. Pearls of Wisdom, behind the scenes it shows, just funny clips, really personal clips as well. So your contribution to us helps us keep this show going. It keeps us young and beautiful. And every other week, right here on Inside the Dry Closet, every other Wednesday on the Book of Faces for you. So thank you so much for reaching out. Thank you for following. And thank you to our viewers who are currently tuned in. Go ahead and pick up your little phone there, your little handy dandy, hit that little arrow that looks like an arrow, a curved arrow, and hit that share button. Share the love, share the live, share the experience that you're currently having with the rest of the world, whether you like it or not. Just go ahead and get us out there, Huns. That's all we ask. That's it. We love you. Thank you for tuning in. You want to do some who, what, where?
Yeah, let's do some who, what, where. Do you want to go first?
Oh, I've said enough already. Absolutely. I will go first.
You'll go first, then it's all you.
I don't mind. Cue the music. What's going on, my friends? There you makeup. What's going on, everybody? It is me, Amethyst Diamond, here back at it again on this beautiful Wednesday evening. Who am I? I am a drag artist. I've been doing drag for over 2 decades. I've been doing drag full time for the past 4 years and absolutely love it. I do it for people out there like you who love what I do. What am I wearing tonight? This beautiful frock, this curly hair wig, is by Sunny Delight, former Miss Continental of Delight Designs. Be sure to look her up. This is 200% density. It is high heat friendly, and it is lace front. And here is the 360. I'm kidding. I'm taking her marketing thing. She's going to sue me now. Love you, Sunny. This lovely sports coat is from a high-end boutique in Los Angeles called Fashion Nova. Very exclusive. You can't find it anywhere. These earrings are done by Lolly Cox. The makeup is a combination of, let's see, what do I have laying around? Mac, Juvia's Place, Self-Loathing and Depression are in there. And where can you find me? You can find me this weekend somewhere. I am at the Handsome Cab in York, Pennsylvania for a brunch with Sarah Besk and Alizé Le Diamond. That evening, I am in Marietta doing a bingo at somewhere. Look on my Facebook. And Sunday, I am at Miss Tally Ho, returning as a former to entertain at Miss Tally Ho in Lancaster at Zootropolis. Yeah, so that's me. That's it.
That's you keeping busy,
Thanks
girl.
for tuning in, everybody. Bye.
That is the end of our time. Thank you.
Sorry.
That's
she
all
gets
right.
going. She really gets going.
Well, it's my turn now. Do it,
All baby.
Alrighty. So, who am I? My name is Jade DeVere. I'm a drag artist based out of South Central Pennsylvania. I love the art of drag because it allows me to pretend. What am I wearing? Obviously, I am giving you a little Agatha Harkness from WandaVision. We were talking about it a little bit earlier. If you're not watching Agatha all along, like, tune in, start watching it. It is really good. It's fascinating. It's such a cool show. Finish watching this and then go watch Agatha all along. But I loved the character of Agatha Harkness. I was never a fan of hers until that show, and I'm kind of obsessed. My hair is just from Amazon. The costume is from Pro Cosplay. Incredible cosplay group. I've gotten several outfits from them. Yeah, Pro Cosplay, fantastic. My makeup is Morphe, Wet n Wild. My lips are the Lip Bar. Yeah, that's it for that. And where can you find me? You can find me every other Wednesday right here on Inside the Drag Closet, available live on Facebook and YouTube. You can find me November 1st at Divas Down Under at the Harrisburg Comedy Zone. We are doing an all cosplay night, which is going to be wild, with Alizé Le Diamond, Callie Couture, Poison, Amethyst Diamond, Jade DeVere, and Katarina Couture. It's going to be a lot of fun. Tickets are $15 for general admission, $20 for VIP preferred seating. So make sure you get your tickets ASAP. Do not wait until the last minute, because in the economy we're in right now, venues get a little scared and sometimes shows cancel because people want to get their tickets at the door, and that kind of sucks.
Absolutely.
Yep. So get your tickets early. Go out and support drag. Support local drag.
Support local drag.
Yeah. Can't say it enough. Support local drag. There are tons of shows out there. There is no excuse for not seeing some drag.
That's right.
Speaking of tons of shows and speaking of drag, why don't we introduce our wonderful guest for the evening?
Yes, we are very honored and blessed to have our good friend Ryan here on the show tonight. He's been such a fan and a friend, and has offered both of us several opportunities in which to work. He has been the entertainment chair on Pride committees, and he's just an overall wonderful human being and has a lot of insight and is very smart. One of my smartest friends. The check's in the mail. So, without further ado, I would love for you all to meet our friend right here on Inside the Drag Closet, Mr. Ryan Geiger.
Ta-da!
Hi, ladies. Hi, fans out there and Inside the Drag
Hi,
world.
Daddy.
Oh my God, it's such an honor to be here.
Hey, Daddy.
It's an honor to have you here, Ryan.
And oh my God, I was just in New York yesterday and I haven't heard Hi Daddy in almost 24 hours. So thank you for that, too.
You're welcome.
I have to go. Well, Ryan, why don't you give us a little who, what, where about you?
Sure. So, I'm Ryan Geiger. I am, I will tell anybody that I'm nobody special. I'm just really detail oriented and I have a lot of experience in event planning.
I love that.
But, I work for a university. I'm an educator who believes in the value of diversity, equity, and inclusion education. I've been working in that industry for almost 15 years, and it shows. Physically, anyway. I don't know that it shows mentally, but I've found that I can use my insights and knowledge as an educator to apply some of those skill sets in event planning and using drag as a way to entertain and educate, or as I call and for using edutainment into people's lives. And so I have, really grown an appreciation for drag. I don't personally perform, but I certainly have my opinions of what is of what's got high entertainment and production value. All drag is valid, but that doesn't mean it's all bookable. Count down how many times we say that. Every time one of us says it, you have to take a shot tonight. But yeah, I am a believer that no matter what you're doing in life, you are always marketing something, whether that's your show, whether that's your brand. And it's not an exact science. It's a lot of failures, but then when you find what works, it feels so good and the successes are just so amazing. So you can find me, well, I travel a lot. I was just in New York City for a couple of days. I'll be in DC all of next week. In a couple weeks, we're doing a show here in Lancaster on Wednesdays, November 13th at Tellus 360. And all of the money that we raise that night is going to go to support scholarships for LGBTQ students. One of the things that I do this out of a labor of love. So I don't make money off of this. This is just a way to support the community, support our performers, and just help spread some love and some light in this world, which we need more and more of everybody to do.
You touched upon something there that I think was very important, and it's kind of words to the wise of people who are just kind of like, I want to start doing a drag show. And I see so many people want to start a show and then complain that they're not making a lot of money. And how do you balance the passion with the business aspect of it?
Well,
question.
If you go into any venture thinking that you're going to be profitable right off the bat, you're going to be sadly disappointed. Do you think Elon Musk was profitable right off the bat? No. Do you think, how many famous people failed before they made it big? Steve Jobs, Walt Disney, the Beatles, Oprah, Ryan Geiger. No.
Jade DeVere, yes.
Amethyst diamond.
You have to be willing to try and put yourself out there. Try new things. If something didn't work in the past, you have to be willing to try again. There are so many people that look at drag as high art, and it does have high artistic value, but in an industry that is completely oversaturated with drag performers, and it's a bit, I mean, which is a good and a bad thing. I love the
Right.
creativity. I love that people are expressing themselves in their truth, but don't just go to the local Goodwill or thrift shop, buy something off the rack, slap it on, beat your face against a CVS palette of makeup, and then say you're a drag entertainer. There's a lot more that goes
Ta-da.
into it than that.
A lot.
And you really have to know the business operations. There are a lot of things that an entertainer has to do. Well, the assignment as a show director is completely different. And if you're the venue owner, your assignment is completely different.
Right.
And you really need to take into consideration what everybody that's involved in this operation has to do. And everybody has different assignments. So before you go out and say, "Oh, I'm a drag queen, therefore I can do everything," drag queens are some of the most talented people in the world, but we all have blind spots. We all have things we can't do. So learn and listen. I use the phrase, when you're first getting into something, listen twice as much as you speak, and then start to do things.
Right. It's a partnership. There are so many different things involved that a lot of people don't see at face value. And there are a lot of new entertainers out there who are willing to work for less money, who are willing to work for, $50 and a couple of drink tickets because they want to get their name out there. And you know what? I was one of those people too.
Same.
I was one of those people too. But when you grow in this business and you make it your full-time career, things get a lot more serious. It's not just my weekend hobby. It's now whether or not I eat, whether or not my bills, are paid, whether or not, my lights stay on. So there are a lot of new entertainers out there who are taking a lot of the up and coming shows in the area. And it's great to see. I'm glad you're inspired, but there's a lot of other work behind the scenes that isn't connecting, and we're losing those opportunities. We have to, especially those venues who have, a staff or they serve food, they have to worry about their food costs. They have to worry about their labor costs. And, if you don't sell enough tickets in time, guess what? Shows get canceled. And drag is everywhere right now. It is wonderful, but it's also a curse because everybody out there is doing drag. Everybody is valid. That does not mean that you have the artistic ability to do it as a business. And that needs to be said, and that's the resources are here. If you want to get better, reach out. If you want to be better at your craft, reach out. I will never turn anyone away that wants advice on how to be better. I want you to succeed, because if you succeed, we succeed. But if you're going into new ventures with new show producers and new business managers, and you mess it up from the initial, there goes the opportunity for us to grow in the future. So a lot of food for thought there.
I've been in that reminded me of a conversation I had once about competing shows. This wasn't a drag thing, but it applies here too. And I don't want the show down the street to be bad, because if that show's bad, they're not going to come to ours then. Right. So we're all trying to elevate each other.
Right.
And I think that goes hand in hand with, performers who are just like, I know what I'm doing. Okay.
Right. It's okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
And like, I've been doing this for over 2 decades. Why aren't you coming to me? You know what I mean? There's not many people out there that can say they've been doing this as long as I have and do it and continuing to do it successfully. Like, reach out, hon. I'm happy to help. I am a wealth of knowledge when it comes to drag. You know what I mean? And I know other people who are also very knowledgeable in this business. And you have to
That's
treat
why
it
I
as
love
such.
Working with you, because we're a very good complement for each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We want the same things. We have the same goals. There's no competition between us. We don't look at each other and be like, oh, I wish, this, that, and like, that's not what it's about. Because if I am successful, like I said earlier, you are successful and we are successful. We have to get away from this rhetoric of competition with each other. Oh, I got this spot, I got that spot, I got this spot. There's enough pie for everybody. And there's some good pie out there too. But we got to be willing to have the conversation and work together to make it happen.
High tide rises all ships.
Ooh. That's a good one. We do have a couple comments here that I wanted to touch on. The first one was from Ava Rage, the incredible Ava Rage. I love the perspective you're bringing to the show this evening. It's very rare to see this point of view instead of your day-to-day drag entertainer. Full credit to Amethyst for getting Ryan here tonight.
No, like if tonight's going to be a good one for the kids. It'll be a good one for anybody, but it's going to be a good one for the up and coming entertainers, because there are things we need to talk about tonight that are being overlooked and is the reason why things are starting to decline. Like tonight's going to be a good one. I've go for it.
I'm just going to throw out there, thank you for that, Ava Rage. And I've been watching you for about 1.5 years now, and I will tell you, you are doing things amazingly. I've seen you grow. I've seen you challenge yourself. I've seen you transform your looks. You are going to be a star, baby. And I am not. So I don't. It's not a matter of how. It's a matter of when. So keep doing what you're doing, because it's amazing to see what you continue to bring to your art.
Yep.
Exactly.
Totally agree.
Everybody keep on bringing those questions in. Like whenever I see a question, I save it so we can get to it. So if you have any questions, just type them in the chat.
Drag 101.
Exactly. That's what I should have named this episode.
That's fine.
The next question is from the incredible Shady P. And he says, what advice can you give a young producer in a town with a lot of veterans, especially as a king in a town of all queen producers?
Now, look, you already put in the door. Now, let's talk about what Shady P has. Okay, let's talk about what Shady P has. I love Shady P. Shady P has been a very good friend of mine for several years now. Always, the hospitality is always kind. The conversations are always good. We're always a good match. So, but Shady P is the show director at Dos Locos, a very new brunch down in Rehoboth at a new not a new venue, but a venue that is now doing drag, and has been selling out. At least the one I was in last month was sold out. So I think Shady P, you know what to do because you're doing it. So don't discount yourself. Don't discredit yourself, because you're doing it. You're doing it. You're a great entertainer. You're good on the microphone. You have a great database of people that you work with. Keep doing what you do, and to hell with anybody that has anything to say about it.
That. Ryan, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, Shady P, I've been following you from the sidelines as well. We haven't had the privilege to work together yet, but we're going to change that in the next year or so. But I mean, the bitter pill to swallow is that kings do not get the validation that the queens get. They don't get the recognition. And there's a lot of reasons for that. We talk about the LGBTQIA plus community, but we really do a terrible job of mixing that together, especially the L's and the G's. So, find organizations that are supporting and creating social events for all members of the LGBTQIA plus community. Rehoboth Beach is nationally, internationally famous for being a destination for the gay community. That was true at one point, but it's a destination for the LGBTQIA plus community. So what are you doing with your friends and colleagues in Rehoboth Beach to highlight that it's not just a place for the gays? And what are those spaces looking like? There's a great bar that I work with in Washington, D.C. that was created because they realized that there was a void in the greater D.C. area for a place for trans and non-binary members. And that bar is doing very well. They're taking care of their primary audience base. And they're not hurting the other bars that are there that are different, that are, have a different primary audience. So talk to your bar owners, your community members, your community leaders, your advocates. How can you start thinking creatively? You're only limited by the barriers of your own imagination. And you know what? Somebody's going to tell you no, but eventually somebody will tell you yes. And those are the people that you want to have in your corner.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're also doing something wonderful in having a king-centric show. And that's right now, that's a double-edged sword, but you are standing out. And that's something that
Right.
I love seeing, because in our area, we don't have any king-based shows right now. And that's a void in our drag community. So that in itself is incredible, when when the media is like not based towards kings. Like, queens are sensationalized all the time, but the kings aren't getting the recognition. You guys are part of the problem too. No, I'm kidding. Um,
Tell him, sis. Tell him. Tell him that's what this is. Tell him it's you.
it's not just
You
us
did
that are
this.
the problem. As a community, we're the problem. No, that's
You're
awful.
all the problem.
Exactly.
But entertainment value is something also to be looked at there. Entertainment value has got to be on the equal level if you want to be recognized.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of kings that, I hate to say it, very pedestrian in their drag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that they're bad entertainers, not that their makeup is bad, but people pay for a fantasy.
They
People
pay
want to
for a wow
see an
factor.
illusion. Right. They don't want to be able to see you through your illusion. You know what I mean? Like there's an entertainment factor there that must be on the same level as queens. It's not, drag isn't easy. Trust. Drag is not easy. It is not cheap, so, but if you continue to invest in your craft and continue to ask questions to people that you value and trust, you're only going to get better. You know what I mean? So the company you keep is very important when it comes to entertainment, especially for those of us who do this as a business. And if you're not treating drag as a business, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. And I often give this advice to my students. What's the story or the message you're trying to tell? And who are the characters in that story? When I'm putting together a cast for a drag show, I'm doing it to raise money for a cause or for people.
Right.
I want my entertainers to be well paid. I want my
Right.
my audience members to be entertained. And
Right.
there are people that they have high entertainment value, but they just don't fit that character that I need for a show. So again, back to that, in a world where there's so many drag entertainers, yes, everybody wants an opportunity, but remember, what is the message or the story that you're trying to tell? And that doesn't mean that it's who can follow a theme for a show. It's what's the story behind the person underneath the 3 pounds of makeup and 5 pounds of clothing and 8 pounds of hair that they're wearing.
I feel very attacked. Very attacked right now.
I was looking at Jade the entire time I said that.
My tits are down here, Ryan.
you really have to think of, what does the 10,000-foot view look like, and how does the ripple effect impact the community, and most of the people who are going to see your show are probably people who weren't there, so it's going to be interpreted through somebody else's post.
Right.
And what do you want that story to be that somebody else may be telling for you?
Exactly.
Yeah. We have a handful of questions, but that made me think of something I want to ask, and I think we're all going to answer this, but I want to start with Ryan. What are 3 red flags when booking someone?
Oh, baby. Let me get my list. Hold on. Where's my binder?
Red flag number 1 for me is somebody who doesn't have transportation and then asks me to book somebody else who can give them a ride.
Ooh, good one.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I've lived in parts of the world where I didn't have a car and I had to make things, I had to get by. But, and I'm not trying to be down on people who don't have a driver's license or who don't drive, but, there are some really talented people out there. But if you don't have access to reliable transportation, your boss at work doesn't care. It's your job. This is work. We try to be as accommodating as we can, but again, there are multiple moving parts to this production, and that sometimes is a barrier to a lot of really talented individuals. So I don't hold it against everybody, but it is a big red flag if I reach out to somebody and they're like, well, I don't have a right way to get there, or let me find out if I can get a ride. I'll get back to you in 3 to 4 days. And it's like, I need an answer in 3 to 4 hours.
And
So,
that's not just a drag related thing. Like I've
no.
experienced that in the theater world as well.
Yeah, that's all areas of entertainment. And again, that's not an attack on any drag entertainer. It's again, we're talking about harsh realities tonight. We're not attacking anybody. Another red flag is there are some entertainers that are really talented, but I don't care how talented you are for 5 minutes on a stage. It's the other 23 hours and 55 minutes of a day for how you compose yourself, how you talk to people backstage, how you talk to your so-called friends, who you cheer for when nobody else is watching. That stuff is really important to me. And I've had a lot of really talented drag entertainers I know my entertainment value and I know what I bring to the table. I'm like, great. Could you bring your music to the table? Because it was due 3 days ago at noon. So not getting music into me on time is a tremendous red flag, because keep in mind, I'm not the DJ. I want to get the music over to the person who's going to be doing the sound and the strike so that they can listen to it and make sure that it's going to be quality audio for the DJ, for the performer, and for the audience. And I can't wait for one person not to get me their music because everybody else has gotten it. And I mean, just the other red flag is like looking how somebody composes themselves on social media. The vague book posts that I see and all of that stuff, like there are people that get under my skin sometimes, but I do not let it be known publicly. One, I'm not going to give somebody the satisfaction of knowing they got to me. And two, why put that negativity in the world? There's so many people from outside our community that's trying to knock us down. We should be building our foundation and our walls instead of destroying it. So what are you doing to be a true ally, advocate, and mentor, and learner, and listener in our community?
Ooh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Amethyst, anything to add to that?
Ryan, you had some good ones there. I definitely agree with all of them, especially like the social media presence and how you act on social media, and as well as how you act in person. Um, Dressing room etiquette is always something that's very important to me. Being mindful of each other's things, of each other's spaces, and just not being overly obnoxious or disrespectful, in a dressing room. Like behind is our time to get along and to lift each other up, because we have a job to do. And oftentimes all of us are tired. We've been working all week. You never know what you walk into, but having a positive attitude in a dressing room and having good dressing room etiquette is something that I feel is number one for me. Your professionalism matters. You know what I mean? From A to Z. So definitely that for me. Another red flag for booking for me is advertisement. If you want to be in a show so bad, but you're not willing to advertise the show, then I'm not going to put you in the show. And I'm talking more about, and I'm especially talking about like not just copying and pasting something that I've already took the time and effort and put personal, feeling into. I don't want you to copy and paste and share mine. I want to see that you give a shit enough about the show that you want to actually bring people to it, that you are creative enough to come up with your own advertisement for the same show. Sure, it's okay to tag everybody. It's okay to share things like that, of course. But if you are only sharing it and you're only sharing it like the week before, then I probably don't want you in my show. Another thing, wash your drag. Please wash your drag. Please, dear
I'm
sweet
getting
baby
it.
Jesus. I love wash your drag, hun. Just please, like, look, I understand there's a lot of testosterone in some of them dressing rooms, Um, and things get real dicey, Things look, look, look. She's an almond joy, hon. You know what I mean? So, you gotta Keep it fresh backstage, please. Please, dear Jesus, keep it fresh.
When
That's
that
all.
dressing room smells like perfume and balls, you know it's a problem.
Look, there are times where I want to smell a locker room. Behind scenes of the show is not one of them. So, you know,
Ma'am,
well, look, it's all right. Everything's fine.
don't yuck someone's yum. Anyway.
That's right. Sup,
I'm not here
bro?
to yuck somebody's yum, but also yuck.
Sup, bro?
Yeah. You two hit all of mine pretty well. And like, yeah, the like that's why I have two different Facebook accounts. Like I keep my personal life private and I keep my drag life business. Um
That sounds nice.
it's lovely.
That
Although,
sounds
you
really
know,
nice.
I am in a slump right now because I have been very negligent. I've been very distracted by other stuff going on in my life, and I've kind of realized I've missed a couple months of bookings. So now I'm really kind of kicking it into high gear and going, "Hi, anybody got a spot?" I I my life got away from me. Um and I have a great network of friends who are just like, "Hey, I've got a spot for you." So it's working out, but I'm kind of like, it's a business. It
It's a
is a business.
business.
Yeah. And
And
Jade, I'm sorry to interrupt. I have to comment on that.
mhm,
Life happens to everybody, and it is okay. But what is
yeah.
not okay is not communicating that to people. I hold my colleagues to one standard, but my friends who I choose to work with, I hold them to an even higher standard.
Mhm,
So there's no embarrassment, there's no shame, there's no judgment, but not
Right.
communicating the why,
mhm.
then I have
Right.
no choice but to be like, well, they're on social media, they're doing other things. So what did I do? Are they pissed off at me? They're unreliable.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't put that wedge in your professional and personal relationship as an entertainer.
Right.
And to add upon that, if you're doing drag for fun, understand that your hobby is someone else's livelihood. Like,
Baby, put that on a t-shirt, a bumper sticker, a
mhm,
tattoo on somebody's forehead.
because
Baby,
drag
you do
is,
this for fun.
yep,
I do this for finance.
yeah. I love doing drag. Drag lights me up. Drag is fantastic. Drag is fun. But every once in a while, I'll be like, this girl's really kind of messing with my gig right now. Um, and I don't mind if I can go to the person and go, hey, girl, like I talked to a performer maybe 2 years ago and I was just like, hey, girl, what you just did, not really respectful. Here's how to handle that. And she was like, oh, nobody told me that. I just watched everybody else do it. I'm like, you're
Mm.
watching the wrong people. And
Right?
she took the note and went with it. And I was like, that was beautiful. Um, but some
Common
people
sense is
just
not
think
always common.
exactly. Um, yeah. Sorry, I just noticed, got a note from my Abattoir twin at Hershey Park.
Nope,
We're
not
all doubled
today.
up. Yep. We're all double cast, and that's my alternate, and
Oh, cool.
we are
Hi.
we are having an incredible time. Even though we never work
Hey.
together. Like we're never like we exist together, but when I'm on, she's off. When she's on, I'm off. So after we're done getting ready, I don't see her except for, hey, there's a line.
There's a line. I'm
Yeah.
excited to come see you Friday, sister.
I'm so excited for that.
I'm
Like
so happy for that.
I will let you know the times that I am on
Please do.
because I'm
Please
usually
do.
top of the hour to 30 past.
That's fine. I mean, we're probably not getting there until at least like 6. So,
Okay, that's when we start.
okay, good. Okay. And it goes till when? 10?
11.
Even better. All the rides too.
Well, the rides close the queue lines at 10, but the houses stay open until 11.
Fabulous. I can
Yep.
do both.
The houses
Get
and
you
the
a girl
scare
that does
zones.
both. Ooh,
Yep. Check out the Fallout zone. It's pretty amazing.
I'm gonna be pissed. I can't wait.
I also like this week was kind of the week that like we only have 2 weekends left, but I've started getting to know some of the other folks and we've been chatting and it's really kind of been an incredible journey because I'm
Good. I'm
working
glad to
with
hear that.
performers from New York, performers from LA, and it's just been such a
That's
healthy
cool.
environment.
That's good.
Yep.
That's
Now
fantastic.
I need more drag gigs to keep me grounded.
Bookabitch.com.
Hello. If you would like to book me for a show, you could go to www.jadedevere.com or email me at InsideTheDragCloset at Thirsty. I'm
Look,
desperate.
you
Help
can't
me.
blame her. I don't blame her. Look, times are hard, hun.
Yep.
Times are hard.
All right. Next question here from the incredible Kitty DeVille. Knowing
Kitty
what
meow.
connects with you with wait, knowing what connects with your audience as a performer, even only being in this business a short time, it seems like a lot of performers don't play to their strengths. Thoughts on that?
It takes a minute to find what your niche is in drag and what your thing is, and the thing that people go, oh, I know she's going to do this, like, or people know what to expect from who's coming on stage. It takes a minute, you know what I mean? People find what the thing that they love you for. But what they should love you for is your fact that you're humble and you're kind and you're nice to people, you know, and you say thank you and you're gracious. That's the number one drag 101. Be gracious and be thankful for anything. But it takes a while to find your thing and what they know you for. But Kitty, someone like you know, you are extremely unique and you bring something to the table that other people don't. And you utilize yourself as your business. You are your own billboard. Do you know what I mean? Acknowledge it, accept it, and go with it. Like you are your own billboard.
Yeah. Yeah. Find your niche, but then constantly evolve within the
Please.
realm of your niche. You know, uh, Instead of having stickers, maybe you're going to have Kitty DeVille cat ear headbands that you sell.
Right.
That's
Right.
cute.
Right. You can
And people will buy that. People will buy that for their kids. And I mean, truly enhance your brand, not just your stage performance, but your personality of your brand is in all aspects of your drag, social media, in person, on stage, off stage. And so, but find your niche, but then also don't just be the same thing. Oh, one hit wonder at every drag show. How can you constantly surprise your audience
right.
by being you? Don't try to be
Right.
somebody different. Be you, but be different versions and different elevated versions of yourself.
Exactly. Challenge yourself. Try new things. Try things you're afraid of.
That was really good friend of mine. Um, got so well known for doing comedy that didn't get out of comedy for a while, and then was kind of like, I want to do more serious stuff. But it sucked because people would start laughing because they thought there was a punchline happening. And it sucks. Like I've always liked, I love doing comedy. Comedy makes me light up. But I've got those numbers that like I can cry during or I could provoke emotional response. And I have a few that I dance, you know. It's all about like know what you're good at, but try it all.
Right.
That part.
Yep. And keep them guessing.
Right.
I love keeping people guessing.
You have to.
Yep.
You have to. That's what it's about.
Yep. This next question is going to be one that hits us all in the feels a little bit, I think.
Oh, damn it. I'm not
Because
ready.
this is one that all promoters and drag performers face. From
Oh, no.
Diana Jacqueline, I've noticed lots of canceled shows lately. Do you find that social media is enough marketing? Is it worth it in smaller rural areas, especially to hit businesses with flyers? Who wants it?
I'll go first.
Thank you.
Social media is not enough, especially in the rural communities. And one of the things that I've done in some smaller town venues is if I take a paper flyer and somebody scans the QR code, the tickets can be a little bit cheaper if they buy them right there on the spot, as opposed to going to a different place. You know, um, if you fill your venue, then it's a good show. Most of the time, there are some exceptions to that rule, but you know what? It's a seat that's sold at a couple dollars less is better than an empty seat that's sold at $0. So talk to your venue. What's your venue doing to promote your show? Your venue loves the idea of the business, but is your venue truly a member and an advocate and an ally of the LGBT community? Or are they just doing it for the money too? And if they are not promoting your show, it's probably not a good business partnership. Sorry to say that. What are the things that are going to get people there? Talk to bar owners and your venues about partnerships. Who are their liquor distributors? Is there a possibility to get, a particular liquor brand to be a sponsor for that event? And that gets, drink specials. The bartender wins. The brand that's giving you the discount wins. You win. Don't be afraid to have those conversations. But, it's hitting like, hitting share, creating an event on Facebook, for months now, I've had friends that have asked me, "Oh, you didn't come to my event." And I'm like, "I didn't know anything about it." And they would say, "I invited you on Facebook. And I don't know if I pissed off Mark Zuckerberg or what, but I do not get invitations to anything if somebody invites me to it on Facebook. Like I have to go like several clicks to actually find it."
You pissed off Steve on MySpace.
Oh man,
That's what you get for leaving in.
Explains a lot.
He was
That
your
explains
first
a lot.
friend.
He was. I wonder what Steve is up to now. But no, honestly, the social media alone is not enough. But more so is your cast who wants to get paid sometimes a higher asking price than what you may be able to afford given the budget for your show. What are they doing to help sell tickets? I've done shows before where I've told entertainers, you're going to get paid based on how many tickets you sell. And you can use this code of that entertainer's name. And then I can track that as a show promoter and I can see who's gotten their patrons and their fans to buy tickets under their name. And I mean, people are going for multiple entertainers. So like, is it kind of crappy to put one against each other?
Yes.
I don't look at it that way, but, how can you promote that event and using your cast and holding them to that expectation? You want to get paid? You want to get paid more? Well, sell out this venue. And if you are a close drag and friend family, you also have to recognize the same people you're reaching out to are the same people the other cast is reaching out to.
Right.
So
right.
Go to different places that other people aren't going to and promote your show there.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't like the performers selling tickets thing. And I think it's because I've been burned by it before. Because it did make it became competitive. And not for nothing, the couple shows I ended up doing it in were so far away from me. I was traveling to them and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to sell tickets. And they were like, well, that's the gig. And I'm like, okay, count me out.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't work. It doesn't work in every scenario.
No.
And it's one of those things that the two times I've done it, the cast had all agreed to it because they all brought something different to the table. So, I'm not here to create additional internal conflict or competition between our community.
Yeah. And that's different. The one of the times I did it, it wasn't our pay, it was a bonus. Like if you sold for every ticket you sell, you get $5 extra. But then the venue didn't honor that. As one of our performers sold like 25 tickets and they were like, nah, we're not going to do that.
Yeah. So that's shame on the venue because that makes all of the show promoters look bad then. Yep. And, if you're going to offer something in this industry, your word is your bond, your word is your reputation. Don't go back on it and don't give people a reason to stop trusting you because that'll be the first thing that makes people not want to work with you.
Yeah. Quickly, the MySpace guy's name was Tom, not Steve, and he is currently a travel photographer.
Oh my God.
He lives in Oahu, Hawaii, but has
Of
lived
course he
in
does.
LA and Las Vegas, and he
He's
travels the
spending
world
your
with
money.
friends to take landscape photos.
He travels the world with his top 5.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
I
He's
had to
spending our
Google it.
money.
I
That's what
had
he's
to know.
doing. Yeah, it's Tom. I don't know where I got Steve from.
We love you.
That's fine.
You're doing great,
You
man.
know, I'm glad you do. Somebody needs to. It's terrible.
Alrighty, another question from Ava Rage. I will be
Hi.
hosting my first drag event this Saturday. What is the best advice y'all have for hosting?
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a
Um,
Don't
really
get
good one.
drunk. Don't become
yeah,
that sloppy host. Have
don't
fun,
be a
but
sloppy
don't.
host.
But you are in charge of that show. You have to read the audience. You have to keep everything in track. And if you can't hold yourself accountable and together, it will go downhill pretty quickly. I've seen
That
some
part.
really great entertainers who um, their jokes just don't hit the mark. I've been there before too.
Mhm.
Um, and it sucks when it happens, but try to minimize those unfortunate circumstances where something doesn't go quite right. And yeah, have some fun, have a couple drinks if you're hosting, but you're there working. It is work for you, and you have a lot of assignments that night. So
Yep.
getting
Right.
trashed the half hour before your show is not something that you want to do.
Right. Hosting is a big deal. Hosting is causes a lot of anxiety, and it can the first thing you want to do, you're going to think, oh, I need to have like 47 drinks before I go on. But read the room. I could not agree more with Ryan on that. Read the room because all your material is sitting right in front of you. Everything you need to host that room is sitting right in front of you. And you have to be of a certain mindset. You have to, clear your mind. You have to have things in your arsenal. That doesn't mean steal from other people's lines at other shows. People don't want to hear what they hear at the show down the street. You come up with catchphrases, come up with things that are clever. We all pull from each other and we all inspire each other. But if you're just a carbon copy, you're not you. You know what I mean? Everything you need is sitting right in front of you. All your material is sitting right in front of you. Pace yourself. You are in charge of that. Entire show is in your hands. So go with it, go into it with an open mind. Don't be nervous. Don't think that you're doing a bad job. Just go in and just talk to people. That's all you got to do. Just talk to people. Hey, where are you from? Hey, blah blah blah. And you can make jokes based off their answers. You can make jokes off of, how they look if you want, but don't be mean about it. You know what I mean? You can walk up to somebody and, well, clearly this is your last show because you're 97 years old, but you have to be witty. You have to know how to read the room.
Mhm. I think my biggest thing to add on that is keep the show rolling. Don't
Keep it
don't
moving.
monopolize the audience, because if you make that show all about you, then it's the Ava Raid show with your special guests. And unless that's what's on the poster, don't make it that. Um, I've seen many a show host make it all about themselves. And I'm like, okay, we've been sitting back here for 2.5 hours. When are we going back on? Amethyst,
And that's your
exactly what
platform.
I'm talking about.
Oh my God. Oh my, sure do. Sure do. Like that is your platform as well. Don't remember to remind people to do things like vote, to be kind to each other, to be gracious. That's your moment to really bring people together because there are people in your audience that are there for the first time.
Mhm.
And what you do make makes or breaks our future.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you always remember that there are people there that have never seen drag, and based off their experience from you is going to determine whether or not they're coming to another show, whether or not they're going to support us, whether or not they're going to be allies to our community. So always keep those things in mind. That's your platform. Use it for good.
And while you're keeping the ball rolling, don't waste all of your material, because if something goes wrong, a song doesn't play, a costume breaks, then you'll have something to pull to stall. Like if you
Right.
use all your good material, now you're on stage going, what do I talk about now? Make sure you
Right.
have something in your back pocket just in case
Something in the
something
back
goes haywire.
pocket.
Yep.
Absolutely. Always. You have to be ready to fire at will.
Yep.
Fire at will without saying, "Hey DJ, can we play some music while we figure this out?" Everybody's leaving. Everybody's heading for the door.
Yep.
So, yeah.
I just realized the next one I thought was a question was more of a statement, but it is a good statement. Once again from Shady P. My number one is the cast taken care of. I also always have nonprofit involved and given a platform to tell the community about their organization. That's a very good thing for a show director to do. You want your cast to feel protected, you want them to feel safe, you want them to feel respected, because when they do,
Right.
the show's going to be better.
Exactly.
There's one of my friends, Izzy Uncut, who performs in New York City. I love her because she's so talented, she's so campy, and she's so acrobatic. When something goes wrong on the tech, she does what's called a 10-second tidy. And if you're familiar with the Big Comfy Couch show, the 10-second tidy is where they clean up the couch. Well, Izzy's 10-second tidy is she orders 2 drinks and she downs one in 10 seconds and then she finishes the one at a regular pace. So the 10-second tidy is a humorous way to interact with your audience. And especially if they have a fresh drink, your venue will be happy that they're buying more drinks. So I love Izzy and the 10-second tidy idea. So creative, so unique,
Tidy.
and she's not getting trashed when she does it either, which is also good.
Right.
Yeah. That's cool.
Beautiful.
We have one more question here. Feel free to send any more questions you might have on over. These are incredible questions. But our next question is from Daniel Jackson. And again, kind of a statement, but it ties into something we were talking about earlier. Do incentives for performers who promote the show, is that a good thing, or would that create too much of a competitive atmosphere between the performers? Yes.
It's
a good and a bad
that
thing.
we even have to have it.
Yeah.
It's a good thing and a bad thing if it's not executed well. Again, we talked about communicating earlier in the show. Talk about it and say, hey, listen, is everybody okay if we do a ticket sales incentive? Or, you know what, this is your base fee. If you this is your base booking fee. If we get to this many total tickets sold, everybody's fee goes up $25. Everybody's fee goes up this. Try to be a consortium, not a competition with one another.
When Derek runs shows, the venue we're typically at, we do a cut of the door. And that cut of the door is intended to incentivize, to advertise, and to get more butts in the seats, because the more butts in the seats, the more money goes into our pockets. Yeah. But we have noticed from time to time, we'll have performers who don't advertise the show. And we're kind of like, okay, the rest of us are busting our butts and you're just kind of coasting. And it kind of becomes unfair. So you have to be there for your fellow performers. In every aspect of that, but especially when advertising. And if you are someone who does drag for fun, that's cool. You're affecting my paycheck. So take your fun seriously.
Right. That's so offensive to me sometimes when, I know the paycheck is good. And I work with people who don't treat drag the way I treat drag, and they don't take it as seriously as I take it, but they're getting paid as much as I am. That's offensive. It really is.
I think we've all done a gig where we busted our butt, we really worked hard, and then we watch someone coast through the gig, and we're kind of like, I love that for you. That's great.
Right. But I will say that sucks, but if the show producer is doing their job, that person won't get booked again.
And that's typically what happens. Like if you're...
That's what the rest of us said too.
Yeah. It's a
Don't book her
business.
again.
Mhm.
Don't you book her again.
We have
Drag.
all said it. We have all been like, mm-mm. Ooh, Justice just asked a good one.
Split them tips, hon.
Right. This came up backstage last week, but what's your thought on splitting tips? I'm not a fan.
No, we're all independent contractors. I get paid based off of my entertainment value.
Absolutely. I mean,
And yeah,
the only time it might be okay to split some tips is there was a really fun show that I was at in Hanover where I had some really good Judies do a Hocus Pocus number. And for this day, they will never forgive me for it, but it's one of the happiest moments of my life. And I wish I could show the photos, but I'm not allowed to. If you're
it'd be
doing
your
a group
last day on
number,
earth.
they will be buried with me in my casket. So please
Sure
come to my
will.
funeral.
Go ahead, show 'em. Sure will.
Um, so if you're doing a group number, then yes. But I mean, I tell every entertainer, know your worth. Know your worth. It's like Shark
In your
Tank.
words.
I may value you differently than you've valued yourself. But as a show director, if you tell me that your price is $50, I have no problem paying you $50 and another cast member $300. If two things happen. One, if I think one has to be, I have to have the budget for it. Two has to be, I have to think that that other entertainer is worth that entertainment value. So, and as a show director, a way to really get under my skin is if you go and start bragging to other entertainers how much you get paid. First of all, don't assume you're the highest paid person in the room, because the highest paid person in the room
But
should
you're
be the show
not.
director, if they're doing their job the right way. So don't create additional tension. Don't create waves by bragging about what you're getting paid to other people. You know what? Everybody else is
Absolutely
there
not.
having fun. Everybody else is there working. Don't turn that into another competition.
That's a very good topic.
To add upon that, I just want to kind of throw a caveat in there. If you compare notes, don't compete, but compare notes. If you're bonding with someone and you're kind of like, how much did you make for that? And you talk about it and you're kind of like, oh, maybe I should have asked for more. I had an event this year and I got handed my check and I was kind of like, oh, I didn't expect that. And the show promoter was kind of like, that's what you asked for. Because I had forgotten what I asked for. I was like, oh, cool, this is great. And next year I'm going to ask for more. I just filled out a questionnaire for a venue that is starting to do shows, and I purposely aimed high on booking fees. But I also made sure I wrote in there that it's negotiable.
That part.
Because my booking fee is negotiable.
That's good karma.
Yeah. If they're kind of like, we can't afford that, here's what we're kind of offering everyone, I'll be like, okay, I'll think about it. And I will think about it.
It's okay to know your worth.
Yeah. One thing I don't do is I don't do smoking venues anymore. They're few and far between, but a couple of years ago I did one and I hated it so much. I usually tack on a cleaning fee if it's a smoking venue. Granted, I didn't realize it was a smoking venue when I got there, and that was dumb because it's a cigar bar and I wasn't thinking it through. And it was a really hard place to perform. But, that's part of knowing your worth. Like, I'm not a smoker, but if I go to a smoking venue, I have to clean everything I have because that just sticks to you.
It does.
Yep. And cleaning smoke out of a wig. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I remember I was booking somebody for an event, and they told me that this was an entertainer who'd been doing drag for more than a year, but less than a year and a half. And they told me their booking fee was $175. Now, don't get me wrong, that they are a talented individual for where they are in their performance journey. when they use the quote, I put a lot of effort into my drag. Well, you know what? Washing machines put a lot of effort into their job too. It doesn't mean they get the job done. So you're being graded on output, not effort. And there are a lot of not so bookable entertainers that put a lot of effort into what they're calling drag as well. And you got to remember, like, you know, before you can ask for that fee, what all has gone into that? What are you bringing to the table that equates to that dollar amount? You know, when I'm talking to students about their resume, you know, like I've had like a sophomore college student come and show me their resume, and it's 7 pages long, and I'm like, I almost have a PhD, and my resume is not even 5 pages. What makes you think you deserve 7 pages? Yes, be proud about what you do, but also be strategic in communicating what you bring to the table. Because not every skill set is going to be appropriate for every venue. And just because you have it doesn't mean that you get to tack on a fee for that either. If it's not relevant to the show, then you don't get to be like, oh, well, you know, I wear green wigs, and that's my calling card, so I'm allowed to charge more for that.
I feel attacked. I only have 2.
And they're lovely. They're lovely. I love both of them.
One of them I've never even worn. It's literally been sitting there for like 5 years, and I'm like, what am I going to do with that?
Nothing.
Why'd I get that?
Nothing.
I'm going to do something someday. All right.
You should turn it into a puppet of yourself. Jade,
that would
and
be
wear
amazing.
your green wig, and then do like a performance
of
you, Jade,
Don't
and then
tempt
Jade
her.
the puppet.
She will
Jade
do it.
DeVere and Shade Severe. Done.
Oh my God, I love
it. My own one-woman show where I have 2 personalities. Ta-da!
There you go, girl.
Right. That's it. That's the thing.
Get it on.
Why don't we, since we've got some time, why don't we talk about Derek's helpful drag tip?
Oh, no.
Yeah. It's very relevant to what we talked about tonight.
All right, fine. I'll allow it.
But Derek's helpful drag tip this evening is there is wisdom in keeping your drag persona and your real life separated on social media.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You know, there's a lot of drag entertainers that I know that the world's a crazy place. And whether somebody is doing it out of fandom or whether somebody's doing it because they want to weaponize what they're going to do against you, keep your personal life and your professional life separate. You know, the world is crazy and there's a lot of crazy people in it, and you don't know what somebody's going to do with that information. You know, I'm a firm believer in a lot of people will tell me things, but that doesn't mean that becomes my truth to tell somebody else. So, you know, I mean, everybody has their boundaries, and know what yours are and what you're comfortable with, and exercise them, but also respect that everybody else's boundaries are going to be different than yours too.
I had a situation kind of like that pop up recently where I was getting a compliment on something for the show I'm doing. And the person was so nice. They were like talking about my character. My character is a woman. And so she, her were the pronouns the entire time. Basically, I made a whole family laugh, and they posted a video, and it was lovely. And then one of my fellow cast members wrote, "She is amazing." And I was like, please take that down. Why'd you put the quotation marks? That's really dangerous for me. I had a very scary event happen this past weekend, and I was kind of like, please don't do that. Don't do that. You just really threw me under the bus. And he did not even realize, and was so apologetic. And I'm like,
well, that's good.
Yeah. And you have to think, like, you have to kind of, I think one of the biggest things I've noticed in doing drag is I do very much keep my life separate, because when someone does get my other Facebook account, they'll see me at a show and ask me very personal things, and I'm like, I don't want you knowing that. That wasn't for you. Which is why my Facebook is relative. I don't comment on a lot of stuff. I advertise, but I don't comment on a lot. So,
yeah, I just don't have time for 2 Facebook accounts.
That's valid too.
I can't do it. I
Mm.
can't do it. If you know, like, I'm pretty much an open book about all aspects of my life, but if I don't want people to know, guess what? You don't put it on social media.
That
Like so many people use social media as this like
therapy.
word vomit and therapy. Like there are things you don't that other people don't need to know about you because they don't oftentimes they don't get all of the information, and then you create this dialect and dialogue of stories that get created about what you put. Like I've heard so many things, and it's quite amusing sometimes. It's amusing to hear the things that people think, but it's okay to protect yourself. It's okay to know who you are and be self-aware. But what you put on social media, guess what? It's worldwide, honey. So you
Yep.
can't be upset when people come back at it and they have this whole dramatized story about what they think you meant, and it was the complete opposite. And now you have to explain yourself for no reason. So, yeah,
Yeah, I think of Cameron Michaels, who, Cameron is like the Mariah Carey of drag. He only thaws out for Pride Month performances, and
that's
uh, you
handsome.
know, one of my colleagues that I do business with regularly was telling me, Cameron was being Cameron so much they forgot who Dana is. And I'm like, so you are a character. Those you're not a schizophrenic person, or at least we hope. Mental health is real. Take care of yourself. But also, like, you are playing a character. And so know who
Right,
your character is, but don't let your character consume you. And know how to
right,
have that compartmentalization of your life.
right.
I I think that gets so lost with a lot of performers, especially there's a phrase that I keep hearing and it bothers me a lot. I posted about it and a couple people brought up other things to it, but it was my drag is my truth. I don't like that. My drag is my art, but
It's
it's
my
not my
art. It's
truth.
not who I am. Right.
Yeah.
It's a nice portion of who I am, but it's not all of who I am.
Hmm. Drag is my job. And I've turned a passion into a profession. And that's cool. Not a lot of people get to do that, but it's very separate for me.
Your drag may be your truth, but sometimes I'd like to see some alternative facts.
The audacity.
Your drag offends me in the following ways.
I'm aware of it. I know. I have a problem. I'm cosplaying.
I'm cosplaying. I'm not myself right now.
No, sorry. I'm Agatha.
It was you all along, hon.
Yeah,
The whole time.
the whole time. All right, we've got two more questions. Oh, and they're ooh, these are some hard-hitting questions. I like
I
them.
quit. I quit.
Uh, from Brandon Lee. These are all great questions. Love it. How do you all foresee the future landscape of drag moving forward with drag everywhere? Like in the next year, the next 5 years? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Who wants to start?
Makes me nervous. Honestly, it's drag is so currently oversaturated. And I'm gonna start with Drag Race. Drag Race started in 2009. Okay, so I didn't even start doing drag full time at that point, and nor did I see myself doing it as a full time career 11 years in the future. So I applaud Drag Race for really opening the world's eyes to what drag is as an art form, and that it is a viable source of income. It's a valid source of entertainment, and it is art. You know what I mean? But it has also set the standard or the standard of what drag is supposed to be. And I think that has just multiplied worldwide. Everybody is valid. Yes, but just because you do it doesn't mean you're good at it. So I'm very worried, especially for someone like me. in February, I'll be 45 years old. So the next 15 years of my life are on my mind. So I'm constantly wondering about where I'm going to go in this career, or am I going to have to dust off my resume and go back to a 9 to 5? So when I see shows out there that are being canceled, when I see new entertainers taking opportunities away from me that aren't necessarily ready to take the reins for that sort of thing, it worries me. When I see people out there disrespecting each other, when I see people out there half-assing it and making a mockery of what I do for a living, I worry about that. So I try to stay at least 3 months in advance of myself. But I'm also at the stage of my life where I need to worry about what I'm doing in the next 15 years. I love what I do. I don't ever want to stop doing what I do. But there are things out there that are potentially going to take that away from me. So it's a constant thought. It's a constant thought for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've worked with a lot of RuPaul girls, and I was at an event in New York probably about a month ago, and Chanel was talking about how all of the different spin-offs of Drag Race have created exposure for over 1,000 drag queens around the world.
At least.
And that's lovely. That's a beautiful thing. But the difference between those 1,000 people and the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of drag entertainers around the world is they got casted for TV. It doesn't necessarily have anything to do with talent. It doesn't necessarily have to do anything with personality. And that is
Money.
not the monolith narrative. That's what teachers who like to sound fancy using big words say, single story. Monolith narrative, that's your vocabulary lesson for the day, kids. The drag comes in all shapes, sizes, colors, forms, and expressions. What you see on Drag Race is not the standard, and you should not judge other people to that. If your goal is to get on TV, you know what? There's plenty of casting agencies and ways to do that. And in a less toxic, cutthroat environment than probably Drag Race is, and they probably won't keep your cell phone away from you. So, what's it really like behind the scenes on Drag Race? So, keep that in mind. And I mean, most of the Drag Race entertainers that I know, they stick to what they do best, and that is perform and entertain, the most successful ones. And they outsource who's doing their social media, who's doing their brand merchandising. If you've never heard of Voss Events, take a look at them. Once you get to a certain level of talent, you got to be willing to outsource some of those things if you want to continue to grow.
Sure do.
And I'm not saying don't be defeatist, and if that's your goal, have that goal for yourself. But understand, once you get into a bigger league, there's different costs associated to play the game.
Yep. Justice also brought up a very good thing. If Drag Race was the standard, there wouldn't be any kings.
Right.
Absolutely.
I agree with that.
I was at a show with a lot of Drag Race performers the other week, and I was paying attention a little bit differently than I guess I had before. And I said, I just noticed not a single one of the Drag Race girls that was on this cast was wearing pads the entire night. And I'm not somebody who's like, you absolutely must wear pads or else. But I know, Amethyst. That's Amethyst. We're not debating tonight, but it was interesting to me that I was like, interesting observation that, like, at what point I thought, what point did they stop wearing pads? And why do they feel that they don't have to anymore? If it's part of their expression, then I get it. But if it's something that's coming from entitlement or privilege, no, you don't get to cut corners just because of your celebrity status.
And that's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Now, I will say, some queens, they're the character that they're giving and their proportions feed into it. Like Naomi Smalls, I don't think she needs to wear pads. I would like a titty in there, but she has a very model-esque look. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'm just kind of like, You're giving dude, and it's ruining
Right.
the illusion for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Y'all
Yeah.
walking around looking like burnt matchsticks. Like, girl, bye. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I'm
I
sorry.
don't mind no pads if the vision looks cohesive and put together.
Sure. And
But
there
Correct.
if
are
it looks
entertainers
like you
out
took a
there.
shortcut, that's not it.
Right. That's I'm sorry. There's a minimum. There's a minimum. There are entertainers out there who don't need the lower body padding, but like, and they're just wearing a bra. Like, it's just I don't understand it. Maybe my view of drag is different. I come from a different generation, but I'm a character. I'm an exaggeration of the female form.
Hmm.
You put so much effort into the cosmetics and laying that lace absolutely perfect. And then this is your body. Like, there's no illusion there. There's like, it's distracting because I can't feel your fantasy with what you're presenting to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not buying it. I can't buy it. It pisses me off.
Well, and there's
We're just gonna call those Funko Pop nights. You got a giant head and a tiny little body.
well, and
Like,
the common argument I hear about it is bodies come in all shapes and sizes. Yes, that's correct, and that is amazing. But like for me,
they
with
do.
me, for example, I'm an upside down triangle. Like if I don't wear pads, I don't feel feminine and I don't feel I look feminine. And femininity is at its core part of my drag. Female is not part of my drag, but feminine is usually part of my drag. I have a few that deviate from that. But like,
Sure. Like, give me some body, baby. Give me some
yeah.
body. Make me feel your illusion. It should be dramatic. It should be on the next level. Like, I see girls show up with a handful of fabric. I'm like, that's your costuming? Like, I don't know. I don't
How
feel
dare
like
you
I'm
come for
wrong
Alizé
when I
like
say
that?
no. Don't no. My baby girl got it. You leave her alone.
She's got that
But
one
I
outfit.
mean,
I was like, girl, uh that is dental floss. What are you doing?
I mean, I don't know. Like, really take a step back and look at your character and look at what you're presenting. If when you look in the mirror, you go, I am 100% where I want to be, and you believe that, more power to you. But there's so much good influence around you. There's so much positive influence around you. Like, don't you want to be better than you are? I'm constantly evolving, constantly. Like, which is why I've been doing this for 25 freaking years. Like, you learn what works and what doesn't, but there has to be some sort of fantasy to your drag. It's drag. Take it to the next level. Don't be basic. Don't be mediocre. Don't just skim the top. Like,
Embrace all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'll tell
it's
you,
so much.
as a show director, um, I'm getting to the point where if I want to book somebody, I reach out to them directly. No more of this open casting call nonsense because I don't have the time for this,
Back and
C and
forth.
D grade drag slash entertainment value. And I mean, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to tear
No,
anybody down here, but
but do
I
better.
know what I'm looking for. And anybody who's worked with me knows that they're going to be taken care of financially that night. And it's going to be a good show, good energy, good crowds. And
Right.
it's not just my name on the line as the show promoter. It's my name, it's the entertainers' names for the sponsors. I was part of an organization earlier this year who, when they looked up one of the entertainers who had a group photo on social media where everybody was giving the finger, and they're like, we don't want to be associated with that. We love you, Ryan, but that's a person that we don't want our brand associated with. And
Right.
it really sucked because I lost out on a $5,000 sponsorship for an event. And
See?
everybody would have
See?
gotten a really nice paycheck because of that.
See? See? And say it louder for the back row. What you do affects all of us. Yes, your art is valid. Yes, you as an entertainer are valid. But what you do affects all of us across the board. All of us across the board. Entertainers, show producers, the venue, the people who, the management, the everything. Like what you do matters. That doesn't mean you have to conform or silence yourself or change who you are as an artist, but please read the damn room. Read the room. We're at a critical point in society, in our communities. Like we have a huge election next month. Like, and there's a lot of bullshit out there. Stop bullshitting ourselves. Like, come on, do better.
Don't just think of yourself. Think about your community.
Do better. If I succeed, you succeed. If you succeed, I succeed. It's that simple. It's that simple. Stop being dumb.
Yeah. I love the saying, there are no permanent allies, there are only permanent interests. And if your interests are impeding mine, we're going to have some difficulty working.
Peace.
Yep.
Gotta go.
Yeah. We have one question left before we wrap for the night. Are you both ready?
Fine. Yeah.
And it's from Regina Holiday, who
I was about to take my earrings off
adore. Yeah, you might want to, because this is a hard-hitting one.
Regina.
In my opinion, the Central PA drag scene feels very toxic and competitive unnecessarily. What are your thoughts? How do you think this can change? Yes, unnecessarily is the key word in there.
Unnecessarily. Unnecessarily. And as somebody who celebrated their 21st birthday in Central Pennsylvania at a prominent bar. Oh, I just lost my lighting. Oh, Lord, I unplugged my light. Oh, you can still see me. Okay, good. As somebody who has been in the drag scene in Central Pennsylvania for 20 plus years, you are absolutely right. There are those entertainers, very, what do I want to say? Judgmental. There are ones that are very proprietary. There are ones who have not evolved in 20 years. And there are those of us who are passionate about what we do and want to see you succeed. Rise above all that. Put that aside. You obviously recognize it for what it is. You're not going to change them. So do better for you.
I speak in colloquial expressions almost all day long, and there's two things rise to the top: cream and shit. What do you want to be?
I'll be right back after these messages.
Sadly, the drag community is not just toxic in Central Pennsylvania. It's gotten toxic all over the place, and it's because too many drag entertainers don't want to see other people succeed. They want to cheer for other people. They want to see other people fail so that they don't have to improve what they do. They don't want to work together. It's one person's success is now a bigger competition for me. No, your only competition with yourself is being better than the person you were yesterday.
Exactly.
And if they're not doing one of the 3 F's, then pay them no mind. Feeding, financing, or something else. I got myself all tripped up on that one. It breaks my heart to see the toxicity in this community, because in a community that has the capable of so much love and growth, people choose hate and violence. Don't get me wrong, we all have bad days. There's times where I pack knives in my bag instead of spoons and I'm ready. But, give people a little bit of grace. We're all human. We are all learning. We're all growing. But, nobody is better than anybody else. And my saving grace is, Microsoft just bought 3 Mile Island. So, maybe a potential nuclear meltdown again might fix some things.
Here's hoping.
Here's hoping. Yeah, there's a lot of competition out there. There really is, and we don't need to fight each other for it. We really don't. Like, I don't honestly, and toot a horn, what have you. I don't involve myself in those competitions. I don't need to fight for that spot. My resume speaks for itself. I'm an honest
Mhm.
person. I spread nothing but light and positivity. And if you're not, that's your business. Could care less. Could give two shits about it. But there's so much negativity out there that is just getting in the way of our progress as a community. There really is. And I'm going to keep doing what I do and keep being a positive person in our community and keep lifting people up. And if you don't like it, well, that's not my problem.
Yeah.
Don't care
Yeah.
about it.
You
Don't give
And the
two
know,
great
shits about it.
I just saw Harpy Daniels, who is an amazing drag entertainer, service person in the United States Navy, was a brand ambassador to recruit LGBTQ individuals to the armed services. A certain political candidate took their persona completely out of context, weaponized it, and then attacked them on social media for it. And like when somebody is why when there are people that are really part of the problem taking our actions, our personas, our videos, our likenesses, and turning us into the enemy incorrectly, inaccurately, falsely representing us, why would you contribute more material or content for that narrative?
Right. Feeding the fire.
hmm That is such a perfect way to articulate that too. Um, and Regina, you in particular, you are such a joy to be around, and keep doing that. The way
Thank you.
we defuse the problem is to not engage with the problem and continue just bringing love and light and enjoying
Onward and
what we
upward.
do and remembering it's for the audience. We are here for them. We are here for the um the joy of others.
Right. It's therapy all around for all of us,
Mhm.
for the people who love us, the people who buy our tickets, the people who support us, and for those of us who entertain. It is
Yep.
therapy, two-way street. It really is. It really
Uh,
is.
Evelyn Phantasma just posted another comment here that was absolutely, I do not thrive in competitive environments. I'd rather stay in my own lane and carve my own spot. That is the perfect way to do that.
Baby, stay in that bubble. Stay in
hmm
that bubble. Stay in that bubble. Put your blinders on and move forward. What other people think about you is none of your business or concern.
That
Mhm.
part.
None. Don't even entertain it.
Yep.
Don't
Yeah,
entertain it.
yeah.
People are always going to talk shit, and that's their business.
Mhm.
They absolutely will. I was part of I've been part of different pride organizations, and that there were some entertainers that were like, oh wow, Ryan's too mean, he's too hard to work with. And
Too
no, I'm not too
professional.
mean, I'm not too hard to work with. You just don't like my definition of professionalism. You don't like the standard that I'm holding you and everybody else accountable to.
Right.
And if I
Right.
scolded you, well, you know what, you got scolded, but you know what didn't happen, your contract didn't get canceled, so you're
Exactly. And
welcome.
shame on you for being so ignorant to not realize the intelligence that was being presented to you.
Mhm.
Shame on you. Sorry about
Not
it.
everyone is trying
Love
to
you,
tear you
sis.
down.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. If you can't respect normal rules, girl, bye.
Yep.
Girl, bye. Sorry for
Well,
you. Still love you.
yep. I think that is a perfect finale for this evening.
Fine.
We did cover a lot of the business aspects of it. Tonight went
Mhm.
fast. Tonight went
So
really
fast.
fast. Um, but I want to give us all a chance to say goodbye to the viewers, and we are going to start with Ryan.
Well, I don't have the magic to see who's here, so I've been popping on my Facebook on my phone and seeing, the viewership coming throughout the night. So thank you to everybody who came in, especially thank you to those who, saw this big old bald blob and were like, "What the hell does he have to say about drag?" Well, you
A
know what? I
lot.
have a lot to say, so thank
A
you
lot.
for listening to that. Do I have all the answers? No, but my experience is pretty accurate for what will be successful and what won't be successful. And I love talking the business aspect of it to people. I mean, I've been helping a lot of drag entertainers come up with merchandise lately. Amethyst has some really lovely clack fans available. And there's another drag entertainer who's going to be getting some. They were just delivered the other day. But
To hell with Eileen O'Brien.
I love that side of the business as well. So if you ever want to reach out, let me know. I'm not doing this to make money off of you. I'm doing it because I want to see you succeed and I want to see you grow. But when you do get to a certain point, we do need to start talking about my commission. No, I'm just kidding.
Baby, I got IOUs down the wall right here.
I don't take IOUs. I don't take smiles and
cash on delivery. No CODs.
I don't prefer bottles of Rush. Cold hard cash.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
But no, I've been a fan of this show for years. I am a fan of drag for its artistic value and what you do as pillars in the entertainment world and what you do as advocates and champions of the LGBTQIA plus community. So it's been an honor and my privilege to be here as somebody who works on the back end of drag. I Amethyst and Jade, you both know this goes without saying. I absolutely love the two of you, love working with you, will support you any way in every way I can. There are some people that are I'll give everybody a chance, but I build my schedule and availability around if Jade and Amethyst need anything. And, people who know me well know that I'm constantly on the go. I'm constantly traveling. And there are some people that are so special to me that no matter what you need, you get. And the two of you aren't on the temporary shit list right now, so you're going to continue to get that.
No, we're not.
No,
Stop.
I mean,
Stop it.
I absolutely love just talking about drag with you, talking about business. It's always fun.
Great.
I learn from you. I hope you learn from me. And
absolutely.
If you ever need somebody to come back and talk biz on the show, somebody who's always ready to be another guest.
Yes, there will be a volume 2. Drag 102. Yes.
The first one is free. I believe that one's going to be a pay-per-view.
Oh, hell.
That's Patreon exclusive.
Thank you to our Patreons. If you would like to be on our Patreon, yeah. I love it. Oh, look at that. I love that. Thank you. Oh, is it my turn? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. I'm surprised it took this long to get you on the show, to be very honest. We've worked together for several years on several major events, and you've always been not just a fan, not just a follower, but you're a friend, and you are loyal, and you have afforded me many opportunities that I am beyond grateful for. So thank you for your insight. Thank you for your professionalism. Thank you for your hard work and your dedication to all things drag from A to Z. You really you put your foot and your heart in everything that you do, and you deserve all of the recognition and all of the roses for all that you do for our community. It goes beyond what I could possibly say here. So thank you for being an ally and a friend and family. So thank you for joining us on our show, and thank you for our insight. Thank you for our insight, sister. I love you very much. It's 150 episodes.
Yep.
Girl. 150? My goodness. And I wouldn't do it with anyone else but you. So I love you, and I'm grateful for what you started here on Inside the Drag Closet. Here's to the next 150 episodes. Good God, I'll be in a wheelchair. I love you, and I have the utmost respect for you. So thank you for including me. Thank you for continuing with me on this journey in drag. And I love you. No matter what, I got your back. To the viewers out there, when you tune in on November 6th, we will have a new president. and that will determine on what you do the day before. So I encourage you, use your voice, use your heart, register to vote if you are not registered to vote. Get out there and vote. You're conscious. We have a very important date coming up, and I'm sure it will be the highlight of what we talk about on our next episode, which is Wednesday, November 6th, 2024, right here live on Facebook. I love you, and the future is ours, and the future will be what we make of it. Please take everything we say with the utmost respect and appreciation. We're not here to bullshit you. We're not here to put out misinformation. We are here to embrace and educate you. So all you newer entertainers out there, please don't take offense to anything that we said tonight. We are here for you. We come from the history that you want to be a part of. So please reach out to us, ask those questions. Inquire about the things that you want to know to make yourself a better entertainer. We have the resources. They are free to you, because when you win, we win, and when we fight, we win. And I love you. Vote blue. God bless America. I love you, sister. It's all you.
This isn't a pageant.
Right.
It's always a pageant.
Speaking of November 6th, I hadn't even thought of that when I put that poster together for the next show, but that episode will be just myself and Amethyst. We're gonna talk about the work and life balance that night.
Because we can.
Because we can. And
we're gonna.
Yep. And that's something I really need to talk about. So we're gonna do it. Yeah, go out and vote.
Please vote.
I got my mail-in ballot. I got all signed up for that.
Yes.
So yeah, it is very important. Our family, our friends, the closest people to us, their lives are on the line with us.
Our future depends on it.
Yeah, their existence is on the line with this election, and it's scary. Our existences are on the line with this election, and that's not me being dramatic. Like, the groundwork is there for us to be villainized more than we are. So please,
be on the right side of the future.
That part right there.
Please,
Ryan, I am so glad you were here tonight. I am so glad every chance we get to work together and do something together, I feel comforted and I feel safer with what's going on. And I can't wait to work together more. And that's not me being thirsty for gigs talking. Okay, it is a little, but no, it is always a joy to work with you and to hear your expertise and for you to impart that to others. That is truly a gift, and I am glad you shared it with us and with our guests this evening. Amethyst, I adore you. You have been so supportive of me. You know things that are going on that I don't talk to other people about, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And I am so grateful for that. And yeah, I'm excited for the next 150. Oh my God, 300 episodes. Good God.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
300 will probably be my funeral. So like, we're just
my God. And it better be a party. If I go before the next 150, it better be a party. I will come back.
Exactly.
On all you fuckers.
But everybody, go out, support local drag, get your tickets to Divas Down Under. Don't wait until the last minute because that makes venues jumpy.
Support local drag. Support local drag. Support local drag.
Local drag. November, and
please.
Shameless plug, even though I don't have a flyer for it. Wednesday, November 13th. Tellus 360 at 7 p.m. We are having a drag show fundraiser for part of an organization called Rainbow Sig. We advocate for LGBTQ plus rights all over the world, educational access, mobility, and access to education. There's so many people whose parents cut them off from college education, but they still claim them on their taxes, and then the kiddos can't go to school because of it.
Rude.
We are doing what we can in Rainbow Sig to combat that, and we're having a show at Tellus 360 with a lot of local favorites, and there's going to be a surprise guest performer. We have a lot of cool stuff, autograph photos from Drag Race, celebrity entertainers that are going to be available for silent auction. None of my shows have a ticketed price. They are free, but there is a suggested donation of $10. If you have $10, we love it. If you don't have $10, you will not be turned away. So if you're available Wednesday, November 16th, want to break up your week, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Some people on this screen will be there, some in drag, some out of drag, but we'd love to have you.
Awesome. I think that's the perfect way to end. Everybody take care of each other. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Good night.
Love you.
Thank you for joining us on Inside the Drag Closet.